Hi, welcome back, preschoolers. It's Miss Trisha again today. This week we've been talking a lot about shapes, and we started off talking mostly about the shape of a circle. Remember, circles are round and they have no straight lines, and they always stop and start at the same spot. So, yesterday we drew a picture of a snowman. Do you remember? We used a large circle and a medium circle and a small circle, and then we added some other details. But do you remember what shape we drew up on top for part of our snowman's hat? It's a square. So today we're going to practice drawing our squares, because that's another shape that's important that we know. So before we start drawing, though, I want you to look around your house, look around your room, and see if you find any square things. Remember, we looked and we found some circle-shaped things. Now I want us to see if we can find anything that's shaped like a square. When I look around my office, one thing that sticks out right away is I have these square little Post-it notes that I write messages on, and then I stick them up on my wall so I'll remember things. So I have those are square. When I look around, I find some other things too, like, what about this? Is this square? It's not a square. Even though it has 4 sides and it has 4 corners, the sides aren't the same length. So that's something we haven't talked about yet. If the sides aren't all the same length, then it's not a square. This one is called a rectangle because 2 sides are longer and 2 sides are shorter. But we're looking for a square where all the sides are the same length. So we better keep looking. What else can I find in here that's shaped like a square? What about... Oh, I know. What about the bottom of my coffee cup? Is that shaped like a square? It's not. That's a circle. What about... Oh, I know. What about my book? Ooh, that's closer. But if you look close, you can see this side is a little bit longer than this side. It's pretty close. We have a lot of rectangles around our house, but it might be harder to find ones that are squares. This one's a square, do you see? All the sides are the same length. I see another square over here in my office. Let me get it. So over here is my tissue box, and if I look at it this way, this side is longer, so it's a rectangle. But if I look at the bottom or at the top, that part's a square, because all of the sides are the same length. Pretty cool, huh? So let's practice by tracing some squares to start. So I'm going to hold, do you remember how we did this? We hold down our object that is shaped like what we're looking for. So we've got our square tissue box, and we hold it with one hand, and then we trace it with a crayon or a pencil. Remember to make sure you ask your grown-ups if what you find is okay for you to trace, because it can leave a little bit of a line on it. This one didn't leave a little bit of it on the bottom there. But look, once you trace all 4 sides, then you'll have a picture. Oh, I'm getting too close. You'll have your square in your picture. Okay? So, I'm going to keep practicing tracing. I'm going to do another one. Remember, they don't have to be next to each other. I can put this one right on top and trace it again. Make sure you get 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, and 4 sides. Because all squares have 4 sides. I'm going to practice tracing some of my other ones too. I'm going to change colors. I'm going to use my red now to trace my Post-it notes. So here's 1, 2 sides, 3 sides, and 4 sides. Are you tracing some of your objects too? I'm going to move this one over here. 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides. I'll do one more with my Post-it notes, and then I'll find 1 more square to trace. 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides. That's all 4 sides, and I've got my Post-it notes. I'll put those back. I need 1 more square that I can trace. I think maybe I'll use that book that I showed you. But there are other things we could use too. In my office, I have lots of toys for when kids come to visit me. So the toys that I have in my office are all different shapes, but I have some of these magnet tiles, and those are squares. Actually, maybe I'll trace one of these. It might fit on me. I'll do one around the book, and then I'll do one magnet tile too. Maybe 2 magnet tiles. We'll see. I just get so excited. I don't want to stop once I get started. 1 side of my book, 2 sides, 3 sides, and 4 sides. That blue square is very big. Do you see how big it is? Whew. That one was all for my book. Put back my Pete the Cat book. Maybe we'll read that one sometime. Now I'll do a couple more little ones with my magnet tiles. I retrace all 4 sides. If you need help finding some squares in your house, make sure you ask your grown-ups. They know all their shapes too, so they'll be able to help you out. 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides. Now I have a question for you, and it might be a trick question, so listen careful. You know this piece of paper that we're drawing on? Is this a square? Is our paper a square? Let me turn it over so you can see a little better. Is this a square? It's not a square, you're right, because this side is longer and this side is longer, and these ones are a little bit shorter, a couple inches shorter. So this is a rectangle. So look at all the cool squares that we made on ours. I've got all sorts of different colored squares and size squares. Some are very big and some are very small. Some are kind of in the middle. That's great. So I want you to keep practicing tracing your squares. And if you want, you can go back over this just like we did with our circles and use a different color crayon and trace over top without that object there. That makes it a little harder because it's your job to stay on top of the lines then. And just like I said with our circle, if you're tracing and you accidentally get off the line, that's okay. Just make sure you get back on. It's like a train on a train track. You want to try to keep it on as much as you can. But it's okay if you go off a little. That's what learning is all about. Okay. Ooh, good job. So keep practicing. Trace some objects and then trace those lines when you're done. That makes it a little tougher. And next time, when we do our tracing, we'll be doing it. We won't be doing tracing at all. We'll be doing drawing. We'll do it on a fresh piece of paper with no lines and no objects to help us. Just you and your great drawing and writing skills. Okay, I will see you soon. Have a wonderful weekend, boys and girls. Bye.